If you were to make a YouTube title about how many times I've been robbed, the title would be Daniel gets robbed, but each time it gets progressively worse. Because the worst robbery was when I formed the store back in the second half of 2022.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the TCG Table Podcast. My name is Alan Lee, aka Pokemon Hero, and I am the host of the TCG Podcast. And today with me, we have a special guest for you. His name is Daniel, and he is the owner of CardLab up in Orange County here, SoCal scene. And we're going to get into a little bit of his origin story. So I didn't want to spoil it, so I didn't want to know too much. But to introduce him, the reason for his name CardLab is because he wanted to sell everything playing off the Japanese company called C-Labo, right? So anybody know C-Labo in Japan is a card shop that sells pretty much every single card there is that you can think about. So he modeled it after that because he wanted people to come to be able to pick up a lot of different types of Pokemon product, Yu-Gi-Oh product, or any other trading card product and make sure people go home happy. So with that said, we're going to get right into it. We're going to introduce you. Daniel, CardLab, welcome to the podcast, my friend.
I'm very excited and very nervous to be here. Also, Japan, please don't sue me. It was just, I like the name. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah. No worries, man. Don't get nervous. We're gonna get real comfortable.
Apparently, CardLab is also it's one in Japan, one in Vietnam, one here. There's gonna be another one at West Coast Card Show coming up soon next week.
Seriously?
Yeah, and then there's one in New Zealand, one in Britain, I think, one in France. It's kind of like a global franchise.
I'm waiting for you to get there, my friend. You're gonna get there. Don't worry. Yeah. No. So I'm again very honored to have you here, and I gave you the invite very recently, so appreciate the short notice and your ability to kind of come by. We're gonna have lots of fun tonight. It's gonna be a chill night. So with that said, let's get right into it. I always love to start with this question: do you remember how we met? And tell me your stories. Tell me your recollection of it.
Yeah. I believe that we met at the Premier Card Show in Westminster. And there's a possibility I don't remember this, but either you were first vending, you had a Giratina in a 9, and you're like, look at it. And we looked at it, I'm like, hey, it's like really well centered on both sides, and there wasn't any whining. And I'm like, this got a 9. You're like, yeah, I'm thinking about cracking it and regrading it. Was that interaction with you?
Yep, that's right. And
okay.
guess what?
Did you get a 10?
It still got a 9.
Oh my god. Okay, well.
You know what's the worst part? I sacrificed another Giratina because I was thinking if I crack that one, put another one behind it to grade sequentially, and the one that's behind it is worse, they for sure are going to give me the 10, right? Nope.
We got 2 9s.
I got a 9 and an 8.
Oh my god.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not do that. Be strict with your criteria, okay?
Oh my god.
That's
the
right.
The grader was just like, is this guy serious? Like, bro.
I did not think about that scenario, and it got me.
Oh my. All right.
So yes, that's right. That was our first interaction, and I was overly excited because I was like, man, look at this.
It did look good. Like, I don't grade very much, but it really did look good. I was like, yeah, look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very true story, guys. So very sad about that. But yeah, love to hear who you are. Give me your backstory. Again, CardLab, the name, you got the logo, everything looks very proper. Give me your origin story, my friend.
Sounds good. All right. Well, I started vending in 2018 off of a whim. I just thought to myself, I woke up one day, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go sell cards or something. I just do something I like because there was nothing else I was thinking about at the time. Went to work at a local game store in Fullerton. Started getting a lot of packs and just opening them and seeing if I can get hits and sell, just like how people are doing now, just opening packs and just selling the singles off of it. My main game back then was just strictly Yu-Gi-Oh! With a little bit of touch with Pokemon, and Pokemon was definitely different back then. But from 2018 to 2019 was the first introduction of learning and mastering my skill set. And that includes, because working at a shop, you had to adapt like really fast and learn the retail service. And I realized like how much I love to make people happy coming into the store. Even though it wasn't my stuff, I just started to understand like, hey, this field is very fun. And after I had left the store, I started venturing on my own. But in order to keep the business going, I had to have money. So I got a regular job working at Pizza Hut as a delivery driver. And so I would use the tips as cash to buy cards and just continue to sell and trade with other people in the community. And that's how they knew me for Yu-Gi-Oh!
Nice.
Things changed during like COVID and like Pokemon exploded. But before we get into that, from like 2018 to say 2023, people not only knew me for like what I had, but also what I had gone through. And it's just a funny story. They call me, like, it's only like 4 or 5 people, but they call me the Roach.
The roach?
Yeah, the Roach, because roaches survive, right? Like, I swear, you cut them in half, and then they're still moving. Like, what is this? Like a nuclear bomb gets dropped on them,
Starfish,
radiation.
man.
They just still survive. And the reason they called me that was because of the amount of thefts I've been through.
Man, tell me about it, man. I want to hear more.
One of our first events was in Atlanta, Georgia. So I flew out to Atlanta for the first time to see if I could trade with people, and I really liked what I was doing over there because it's the same thing that I'm doing here, but at a larger scale. It's a bigger event. It's like a more premier event. This was before card shows were really a thing. Like, so it's just you're just trading with other people. You're making new friends, connections, because everyone from out of state, even out of the country, are coming in for a Yu-Gi-Oh event. And I lost track of one of my binders, and there was a large sum of money in like the cards back then, so that was gone. And that was my first biggest loss. Next week after I returned home, it was like, I'm trying to recover. I still have items, and I brought it to an event, sold a bunch, and within an instant, that was also gone. So it was just back-to-back losses. But no matter through each time, I just kept pushing through it, and it was like rock bottom. But if you were to make a YouTube title about how many times I've been robbed, the title would be Daniel gets robbed, but each time it gets progressively worse. Because the worst robbery was when I formed the store back in the second half of 2022 in Anaheim. And we got broken into. And they basically destroyed the property, so insurance can only cover the damages to the property because the tenant is liable for the property. Yeah. And thus, sure, I covered the property. Now what about my inventory? Right. All our boxes are gone. Like, they took, at the time, it was just like Fusion Strike, Brilliant Stars. This is the Sword and Shield era. A little bit of Crown Zenith that we had left over. XY Evolutions. Not at their current prices, of course, but that back then when boxes were still about 200. And of course, a lot of like smaller slabs that were PSA 10 and a lot of the singles. UPCs at the time gone too. Just a lot of Pokemon inventory gone. My Yu-Gi-Oh inventory just gone. And I don't have the store anymore. So from 2023 till the beginning of 2025, I was just I just sat at home, just not doing anything. I rebranded to CardLab because our sales were just heavily done primarily online. All of our service, all of our business was just done online. Just sell, like a laboratory, printing out cards and just shipping them out to the order. And that's what CardLab basically does in Japan. They just keep selling and going. Some of the most successful game stores like Burbank Cards do the same thing. Just keep going.
That's amazing. So were you selling on like TCG Player? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
TCG Player, and sometimes in real life if they just wanted to meet up because they knew me from the past life.
Yeah, Craigslist was still a thing.
Sometimes, I swear to God, Craigslist is weird with all these bots going around, man.
Yeah. No, continue.
But in December, I realized that, hey, Yu-Gi-Oh's going a little bit downhill. I'd like to expand branches, and I sought advice and learned about card shows. So my first card show was the Premier Card Show. Not the one where we met, but just in general. It was the first one of the year. And it made me see a different light. It brought back like a fire that like I used to have. I'm like, man, this is great.
And this is like what, 2024?
No, this is the beginning of this year.
Beginning of this year? Okay, yeah.
January
No wonder, yeah.
The very first show was Premier Card Show. It was my only show that weekend. And then after that, I came to the regional, my second show, and I just kept pushing for more shows from one show per week to 2, and made sure all my slots were filled. And then 3 per week, and now I'm thinking about theoretically doing 4 per week. So it's like, it's fun every single time. But I'm committed more towards Pokemon now, and with all the people I've met along the way, including yourself, it's pushing me to make my goals more and more of a reality to reobtain another physical brick and mortar stop.
That's awesome, man. That's really, really like crazy and inspirational to hear because like everybody sees the glory, if you will. Like it's so mainstream right now, Pokemon, right? And people are like, oh, all these money just being printed, but they don't think about like the scary stuff that can happen, right? Like we recently, even just at our local show, has so many random thefts, and there's lawless stuff in there.
Yeah,
So
security's been like going in on it too. Like there people are front row card show informed me that they were hiring like $3,000 just for security, just to cover all the bases. Like, yeah, it's pretty serious, no matter what game they're in.
yeah, because we're talking about a good amount of money, right? So I mean, it needs to happen, and I'm glad we got that. And quite frankly, I'm glad you kind of gone through it and came out even stronger, right? So again, that's very inspirational. And I'm sure I'm gonna pick your brain tonight on this episode about some of that stuff that you can help maybe people avoid, right? Like by just kind of giving them advice. So, but yeah, so let's talk about it, man. Like now you're doing this full time, basically every single week, and I see you almost in addition to that, you're at like even on a weekly basis, you're showing up at like other shows, other car shows. So walk me through that process now, right? Like, how is it different since, right? What do how are you preparing for shows now? Because they're happening so frequently, right? And also, obviously, you have your previous experience with theft. How do you prepare yourself now? Like, walk me through your daily life, I guess.
So when I worked at the store, like, it was a 7-day grind. So no matter what, I was always working. Shows are just another day at the shop kind of thing. You just keep going. The difference is I don't have to price everything out when I was at the store because prices change every day, and they just pick it and we just tell them and it goes. But the way that shows have shown me a change is that they want everything priced ahead of time so that they can basically be on their way to the next booth or whatever. It makes the transactions a lot smoother and it gets more people cycling. Whereas the store, it was just stationary.
Yeah.
I have to spend at least 1 to 2 days just repricing everything because my inventory is just so massive, right? Like I already have like what I'm doing, and then it's like what exists and what is needed to be added. So it's all organization, sorting, reshifting the binders that I have, and then checking the comps on all the slabs. I don't have a spreadsheet for the slabs. I just do it as I go because sometimes I might just keep the item for a future show. Yeah. And I think about what items I keep for a future show if I have extras or if I just say, hey, it's not selling well, so I'll just wait on it a little, I guess. Each and every single day is a new day, and I'm not gonna lie, it does burn me out sometimes. There are some days where I just want to like take a nap because I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. It's just using the price gun, getting over there, and just sitting there, just watching anime, and just chick next. Just the whole thing is just a repeated cycle. But I think back to how things were in the early years in 2022 when the store first started. It wasn't always like that because the volume at which Pokemon is moving currently is much higher than it was when I started, because the hottest set at the time was Crown Zenith. And while it was hot, people weren't doing what they were doing now, which is like camping GameStops or anything like that. This is the first year I've heard of things like shifting for the entire nation, you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Yeah, like so with all these changes, I have to adapt to the market because you fish where the fish are, and what the fish are doing it really matter. You know, if there's no one biting, why? What's going on? My price is too high? I better adjust. Hey, it's not selling. Let's wait a little. Let's move this out of the pool, put this one in the pool. So constant adjustments is really important as a seller.
Interesting. No, that's really cool because I obviously just kind of done this for like 6-7 months now. And I am so terrible at inventory management, as in like pricing things. That's why, again, I stay away from singles because I'm like, oh, it's just easier for me to look up comps for single slab. The effort for me is lower. The return on the investment is higher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get to interact with people more. But man, I'm always so fascinated by when I see a booth and I'm always seeing like, man, you got a ton of inventory, right? And now hearing the story of you having basically the setback and having to reset to zero and start over, I think that's kind of my next question I want to lead into, right? Which is how do you what would be your advice for people who are just starting now to scale like as fast as they can, realistically, right? So
I really like that question because one thing that I've had the privilege of is the people that I work with. When I see and interact with other like newer vendors that ask for advice, one of their concerns is like, well, not only the scaling and keeping up, but like why are they struggling? And most of them, if I can get a good read on them based on their body language and how they talk, I ask them if they would like to work like alongside me at my booth. Of course, I'd pay them and all that, so they can understand like how my business model works, and it can reflect on their business model so that they can improve as well. And back to the inventory question, the reason why I accumulate so much is because I just buy everything because it has a value to it. It's just like, hey, this is a $3 card. Why? I don't know. Someone will tell me, but I'll take it, and maybe someone wants it. And we just keep buying every single item because when you put all of your eggs into one basket, that basket starts like crumbling and falls. What else do you have left?
yeah.
Well, for me, because I do Japanese, English, slabs, playables, illustration rares, and all these small and big and like all this mix, even other card games, if one falls, I can still rely on the others to pick up the rest of the weight so that I don't feel like I'm struggling. So that's why I'm constantly in my stories posting about like lots of cards. Maybe people don't want them, but maybe people do want them. And if we have everything, well, someone's got to get someone's got to get something, right? Please, like one person, right? You know. So my advice for those that are starting out is don't put all of your eggs into the one basket. If you are committed to, if you have a lot of slabs, maybe move some away and diversify into smaller singles and turn those like big one singular cards like $150 and it's not selling for like 2 weeks. Turn it into, I don't know, $350 cards. Maybe one of them goes and there's 33% back, like 1/3 of it's back, and you have 2 more to work with. Just diversify the targets so that you don't crumble when your basket falls. Put all your eggs into other areas.
Is that so? And I'm really put you on scrutiny to help this people who's starting, right? Is that realistic in this state of the hobby when everything is so expensive and you're not really afford to make mistakes? You know what I mean? So more specifically, right? With your strategy, I think my fear, right? Like looking at that, and again, the fear of taking that step forward is failure. So I think people are afraid that like, oh, well, I have like, let's say I have 2 slabs because I'm just starting. If I trade 1 slab in for a bunch of single, now I'm locking up my capital and I can buy other things. How do you deal with that, right? Because the only way you can survive and solve that problem is maybe through time and tenure. But when I think that like right now, the hobby, I mean, you've seen it, right? So many new vendors every single week. Like a collector or just a casual person, now it's cool to be a vendor, right? Mm-hmm. How do they scale up, right? Because it's not like they can just be like, oh, let me just dump 20K into buying random things and split my eggs in different basket, right? So right. What's the starting point? I think a lot of people would be interested in that.
Right. A lot of it came down through like trial and error because I still actually have cards that have sat for extremely long periods of time based on the way I've changed where my price stickers go. And like how I've changed my price stickers is an indication of how long those cards have been sitting there. And some cards have just sat there for like months on end. With bigger risks, like it's essentially what I tell people is like, if you're losing somewhere, you got to win somewhere else. I just keep going regardless of the losses that I've taken.
Yeah.
Because there is no other way forward for me personally. If that makes sense. Because like if you're describing it in terms of limbs, one limb's already gone. Well, like it's not growing back anytime soon. I'm just gonna keep pushing forward and adapting with the one limb. So putting everything into multiple different baskets, it depends. Because the next thing comes to because being a vendor also means that there have to be buyers that are coming to you. So you got to make sure that your buyers are catered to the way that you want. So instead, if you feel like you're struggling with spreading so far, take the cards and you can work with other vendors and trade. Like, hey, do you want something? Because somebody's got to want it. You want any of this? And I need this because I want to make one of my clients happy. I'd probably take the junk that you have and give you the thing that you want, and your client is happy. So it goes back and forth into a cycle because at the end of the day, we're here. Our job as vendors is to be here for the buyers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does get a little difficult, but like I have, oh man, there are so many cards that just sat in the binders for the longest time. And what's funny is I don't adjust the prices for some of them. For example, the Lucario promo, it went up to like $15, right?
Yeah.
I kept it at $5. Nobody wanted it, even though I kept it at $5. You even saw me at one of the shows, and you're like, hey, Daniel, this card went up. Really? I had it lower, like $100 lower than where it should be. Nobody wanted it. I didn't even adjust it for 2 shows.
Crazy.
It's still like it doesn't. Yeah, so it's like it's lower. It's beyond lower than market. It's $100 lower than market. And you still don't want it. Like I don't know what's going on here. You know, like what?
You know, I have this theory, and it's a proven theory, and I just trying to apply that to Pokemon too, right? As with all things in life, I think if you think about the Apple's model, right? Apple doesn't sell like a phenomenal phone, right? Sure, I'm sure there's Apple fanboys that's gonna kill me and argue me over it. Sure. At the end of the day, it doesn't do anything spectacularly different than any other phone in the market in this day, right?
Yeah.
But why does people gravitate towards Apple? Why do people gravitate towards Tesla? Because they sell at a premium. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. That's really all it is, right? People chase after the shiny thing that other people is chasing after, right? Pokemon is the same thing. And my theory to what you just said, right? You price your card lower, people probably like, oh, there's a reason why it's lower. You know what I mean? People find ways to justify the price. And that's something I've learned when I first got into Pokemon too. And, you know, for those who've been watching this podcast now, I started just ripping packs, and then stopped buying sealed product. And I was lucky enough to get some. And now I'm like, wow, there's a secondary market. And I was actually trying to lift the community in the beginning. And this is like, you know, my name is Pokemon Heroes. It sounds more like an origin story for a villain here, right? But I actually went into like Facebook groups, and I was like, hey guys, I have, you know, these products. I just want to like, you know, help the community selling for just a little bit, like under MSR, you know, under a market price, right? Mm-hmm. And people are like, oh, you scalper, you scalper.
God, the comments all the time.
Yeah, and then I'm just like sitting here thinking about it. And after a while, I realized, I was like, you know what? If I sell that same, let's just say a Prismatic Evolution ETB, okay? Everybody knows the price now, right? Let's say $100.
Yeah, like 100.
If I sell it at $100, somebody will call me a scalper.
Yep.
Straight up.
Yep.
Right? On the internet. Because it's the internet. Nobody wins. If I sell it for $50 MSRP,
yeah,
guess what? Nobody would buy it. You know why?
Resealed. If someone did something with it, it's probably got the wrapping loose or something. There's no packs
Something
in it.
is wrong
with
with
the box.
Something is wrong with you. You're a scammer, right?
Yeah.
You can never win.
Let me guess. You take Cash App, like, you know, like,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You will never win. And that's going back to that conversation, right? People probably subliminally like, what's wrong with whatever your price? You know what I mean? So it's crazy, man. Yeah. That enlightened you just now?
No, it's because like at our most recent show, like, it's a 10. Can I see it? It's a 10. What could you possibly see? It's not a 10. Like, really? Like it's a 10. like I've been getting that, but I do check old certs and new certs, and I did check an old cert like starting with 5 for a Charizard. I looked at the back and it was so off center. I'm like, this got a 10. It's because it was clean.
Different era.
Yeah, a different time. It was 2021. So things definitely changed since then and now. My goodness, like, okay, I understand what they mean now, but man, a new cert or whatever, you know, shoot.
It's the thing. So, but yeah. With that said, next question is, now you're doing shows. I seen you have a lot of people helping you out. Obviously, it's not just yourself. So walk me through it. What's the overhead, employee, you know, profit margin, all of that?
Sure. Yeah, so in short, I think minimum wage in California right now is like 15, right? It should be 15. He's
paying them. Don't worry, guys.
I am paying them. I swear. Yeah. All right. Yeah, but I have rule sets for each how I choose the people, because it became extremely difficult as time goes on, because availabilities have changed. Because like, oh yeah, are you just free for the whole year? Like bro, it's a whole year. I have a lot to think about, family and all that. Depends on your skill set. So if I hired someone and they're completely new. They know about Pokemon, but they don't know how to take in trade, aka the skill set of my thing. Then I just pay them the standard minimum wage. However, when I need helping hands and other people aren't available, I would ask people like yourself. I would ask you. Theoretically, I could ask other vendors, basically.
Yeah, right.
And I would pay them better because they already have a skill set. They should know how to take trades or buy items in, thus decreasing the amount of time I spend doing it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like a second copy of me. We trained this little one, and he's basically a mini me. And oh my god, I love him to death. It's so great, but it gets a little weird because he says and talks exactly like I do, and it makes me hate myself. I'll be like, man, is that what I sound like? You know? But he knows what I like. He knows what to pay, and he knows what to when to buy and what to buy and how to adjust the prices accordingly. The skill set is really important, especially when you're having a team. And then of course, the current wage for if you're a vendor and you could have done this show on your own, but you just didn't get a table, then I would just start off with like 20 an hour. And the reason why is because, well, it's like what is that? 25% more than 15 an hour, and that's a lot when it adds up. Usually per show, it's about 160 to 180.
It's like an 8-hour show typically.
Yeah,
on
and then,
2 days, multiple days,
including setup time. When setup time says 8 a.m., we're there by 8 a.m. Commute and everything. I treat them to a dinner for the whole day. It's always
You need to give me a secondary job, guys.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome to.
How much you pay?
Just depends on like the free time of the person, because they could also have taken the show themselves, but they're choosing to work under me because I provide them with these benefits. So that's the overhead for like the workers. Comes with this, depending on your skill set, the wage increases naturally, especially when I really need a lot of hands per show. Sometimes it's between two for regular shows for the smaller ones, but for bigger ones such as West Coast, Front Row, Collecticon, myself plus 2 more, and if I have more tables, just 1 additional per person. It's also really helpful because we got to take turns going to the restroom, and sometimes while I can go to shows alone, having the extra hand there helps just for the security, even if it's just for the table.
1,000. I've worked with my wife now, right? Nurse Joy, Vibe. And at first, I can never leave the table, right? But now since we've done so many shows together, she's just done so much better. And I was just like, I'm amazed. And I'm like, wow.
She's adapted, right? Like
100%, 100%. And she's smart and she's great. And now I can actually walk away and start looking at other vendors and start making other deals happen and stuff like that. And you know, even though, of course, every time I walk away, she's like, come back here. Somebody needs you. I'm like, no.
Right. Because sometimes they're like, hey, would you accept this? The worker may, like, your helper, your worker might go, I think so, but, like, it has to be him who makes that final
your
call.
executive decision making, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's crazy.
For that, it's where it gets a little complicated. But I have people going, no, I know you'd like this stuff. And then I look at it, I'm like, dang it, he's right. I would like that stuff. And the only time I would increase the wage even further is if not only is their skill set like super perfect, but they're also their availabilities and what they can provide for me. Because we do have like individual people, like there's you can like see with other shows, many of the vendors sit together and just talk and trade with one another, and the cards just get passed around like a hot potato or something, and then eventually someone's gonna buy it. So we have the same thing with our cards, whether it be for Yu-Gi-Oh or for Pokemon. If a client wants it, I'll ask someone that's in our little team and say like, hey, can you get this for me? Okay, and then we'll just trade it, and then we make the client happy at the end of the day.
Makes sense. Okay.
So, aside from that, other overhead costs include the table costs, but those are typically really cheap until I think West Coast has like the highest cost, and we factor that into our gross sales.
West Coast really does it? I thought it's Collecticon. Collecticon has a pretty hefty price.
I think it's like 500. We paid like 25 for a 5-stack, but West Coast is like 650 per table. Yeah, so it's a little more, and I'm hoping that West Coast does really well this year.
Did I really pay that much, guys, West Coast? Let me know.
Oh my God. You check later? Oh, crap. Oh, man.
Yeah. I'm going to have to work extra hard on that.
Yeah, because you just have to make back the table. On top of that, we also have to pay the workers. And, like, we just have to sell just to exist there. And that's where it gets stressful. Because the last thing is asking about margins. One thing I don't factor into my overhead costs for the day is the cost of the goods and the services. Because the profits that I make per day, it's just the wage plus any food or travel and the table costs. After that, it's just, that is my net sales.
Wash.
We use the net sales as buy money for the next day, and then like because like we're always gonna be buying no matter what. So I don't really factor the cost of my items into the equation because with so many items, it's impossible to tell. But theoretically, it is anywhere between 15 to 30% depending on the item, of course, right?
Wow.
So
Okay.
whatever we spend, we should be expecting a 15 to 30% yield to return and continue the business because our business model, the main reason we sell is to have more tables for more shows, like so keep going for the rest of the year.
Yeah. So this is a question I always ask everybody, right? Because I came in as a collector and gosh, I don't even know how I'm just starting doing a podcast. It's crazy, guys. So what's your goal, right? Is it obviously you're making profit margin there, but it also sounds like a lot of your profit margin is going back into the business. Where do you draw the line and say, hey, I need to like provide for my family with this money versus this is all money going back into buying bigger collections. And your goal is now shifted to just growing your inventory rather than saying cashing out, right? So how do you make that balance?
Right. So from the net sales, let's say net sales is 2,000 for one Sunday. We take a certain percentage of it and just shove it away into different things. So then at the end of the day, I'm not bringing 2,000 to the next event. I'm actually bringing like, say, I don't know, 1,400 or 1,500. But over time, as we make bigger moves, it's going to cycle back and go bigger and bigger each time. Because the business model only worked like that because of how I've learned from my thefts, if that makes sense. Like my own tragedies are actually my strengths at the same time. Because with so many things being stolen, I still have something to work with. And I'm turning what I have into bigger things. I guess it comes down to optimization of what you're buying. I'm not blindly buying because I've learned what people want recently. Like, hey, do you have this item or this item or this item? Because of the demand, then I need to meet that demand and supply them. So I'm choosing my buys and being very optimal with it to continue to cycle. Once I get more funds, I can be more expansive, and it just keeps going. But then I do have to tunnel from time to time because of like, hey, low buying power this time. Hey, this week, great buying power this time. Now I don't have to just pick and choose. I can actually grab more, you know what I mean? Today, only strictly try to just pick bananas. Okay, so now today, bananas, we can also go for apples, maybe a little bit of like the cereal over here.
Okay.
Today we can go for milk. The next week, we can go for cereal and milk, but we can't go for bananas.
Makes sense. Okay, I never looked at it like that. That's actually very cool because I've always now trying to set a goal for every show, but I never thought about like a longitude thought process where like, okay, if I'm going into multiple shows, these are my buying power and I can come out with that buying power. Like for example, I'm gonna do like this whole month and then at the end of the month, I'm gonna cash on one big item that I wanna sell. That makes sense. That's actually pretty enlightening. I think it's very insightful. Now, with that said, how do you deal with artificial inflation, right? Like, so things you just said, right? Which is like, your buying was hot. Well, you just said it, right? You had $2,000. Let's just say you took away $1,000 for actual family spend or employee spend. Now you have $1,000. Guess what? That tag team is now $1,100. How do you keep it up?
God, yeah.
Like, do you not buy then? Like, because that's what's hot and that's what everybody wants, right? How do you deal with that?
Right. So like we can also use that example for like brand new product, like the mega stuff, right? When it first came out a week ago, I think, right? I just say I need to wait for it to cool down. When it's too hot, like it's like it's dangerous to just touch it because then you already know that it will drop.
Yeah.
And from all of the interactions I've had with people, there's also just no direct demand for it. So simply just having it is just a window shopping tool. That's cool. Then they just walk away because it's too high.
Yeah.
So it is a risk aversion. In the past, we've had an incident like that with a item that literally just came out, but due to the fact that it was a pre-sale price before the official release, right? So in 2 days, the prices will go down, and we know that it's going to naturally decrease by 30% because most cards decrease by 30% each time. This is Yu-Gi-Oh, but if you can apply it to Pokemon or
prismatic
anything,
evolution. Let's sure. You know what I mean?
It'll
That's a
decrease
rival.
by 30%. So in theory, and it's really weird, I offer half of the value right away.
Yeah.
Now it sounds like, oh yeah, I don't want it because it's half. I'm looking for someone. They're probably going to look for someone who pays anywhere between
Premium.
70 to 85 to it,
100%.
right? But then it's like, how could that person do that? And it's like big risk. I can't justify it because it's not the most optimal way to utilize the money that we have for the business. Right?
Likewise, I till this day lowball people a little bit about the Umbreon prismatic because I just don't want it. Like you telling me that this card has been in the market for less than 6 months and you want to charge me over $1,100-$1,200 for the raw card that's not even like gradable. I just don't want it.
Yeah, exactly.
And for me to take it is a huge risk. And that's what people don't think about as vendor because all the newer people who are becoming vendors, right? Again, everybody see the glory. I think is a theme of today.
Yep.
But they don't see the struggle. They don't see the risk. The risk being theft. The risk being you're acquiring an item potentially that will sit there for a long time and it depreciate an asset in value. Or the risk at it's just not gonna move. Like all sorts
chaos,
of things.
man.
It's all chaos, right? So yeah, I know that makes sense to me. And again, I still don't want to hold on to the Umbreon because I was like, what am I gonna do
Get the
with
Umbreon, man. It gets even worse if people have God packs. We started receiving God packs like it was once every other month. A God pack would come through, and each time it would decrease in value. And so we'll take it in at a percentage, but then like each individual evolution just sat there on my display for months on end. And at one point we had 4 Jolteons. They were 400, and now they're 200. I still have 2 Jolteons. Like it's like, well, I've already lost on it. And in order to recuperate it, it just stays in the display case, looks cool, and that's it. So yeah, as vendors, we will have to. There's no way that vendors can permanently win. That's just the truth. Like if you're always winning, like it's just a little strange.
You have to be like a little bit of like a shark to make sure that the probability of that happens, right? So no, totally get that. Okay, so that's actually really insightful for me. Now, to kind of wrap that piece of the conversation up, like to summarize, right? What would you say is the pros and cons for what you are doing now, like at shows? What do you have access to? What are good? What are bad? Versus previously, which is like you're just only in a car shop. What's the pros and cons? And tell the people, that are listening, watching, that's just trying to get into it, right? Give them some tips, I think.
So for 2022, when you have access to the store, you automatically, well, you're not automatically, but you have higher likelihood of getting accepted into official game store distribution, which allows you to buy product at a little below MSRP so that you can sell it at the market. You will then get bombarded by people saying, oh my God, he's selling it at market. But successful game stores such as Core TCG and Project CCG have been doing it for so long.
Shout out to Dennis, Project CCG.
I love Dennis.
You love Dennis, man. He's the
please
best.
stop by and sell me your Yu-Gi-Oh. Anyway,
you heard him.
I swear to God. I asked him if he could work for me sometime, and he's just like, I own a store, right? And I'm like, all right, I won't speak anymore. Sorry for breathing, bro. Shit. Like, bad. My bad, man.
Call him out.
So, game stores get access to distribution, and the more you order, the more likely they'll play favors for you.
For sure.
And the one big thing is that when I had the store, I would order even like the jank products, like lunchbox, things that you don't even really think about. Lunch boxes. If we were to use today's example, poster collections, the 3-pack bundles, the sleeve booster bundles. But you also have to
Battle
order
deck,
extreme.
all of
Yeah,
that.
you have to order everything, because if they're like, hey, he's taking all of our junk, I'll probably give him a little bit more favor. Now, working as a vendor as a card show, if you still have access to those connections, it's great. But more likely, because of optimization, you're going to be picky. You're going to be picky and choose what you want. For me, yeah, ETBs are good only. Yeah, I might take one poster collection. Yeah, I might not take Blooming Waters. Yes, on the booster boxes, not this booster box.
Yeah.
But as a game store, I have to be ready to just take items that are just sitting as dead stock on shelves to make the shelves look not empty and just sit on them for
Fair
months
enough.
on end, just to make the distributors happy. Because at the end of the day, they're only selling it to us they can't sell it to us at market. So they're not actually making that much themselves. And for their business to continue, they got to succeed where you start buying everything, which also adapts to my own business model of buying everything. Because literally I have to have the stupid product that sits on shelves permanently, the backpacks and all that, just so that they're happy. And eventually maybe somebody will want it, maybe a little happy ones. So that's one thing that you have access to the card stores. Percentages are much different in card stores as they are in shows. Where shows I'm only paying for the day and the 2 table space. For shops, I'm paying rent for 7 days per week for the whole month. And then on top of that, it's also like just to keep the items over there. The starting cost for a store is much higher, and it only gets higher as we live in the state of California. So reaching my goal there is still a work in progress. If I keep grinding, it'll get there one day. But that's just all. It's the long game. I'm working to get there, and to be ready for that. At shows, you're paying anywhere between 60 to like 80, maybe sometimes even 90 just to obtain the item. But at shops, you have to flex your prices to be a lot lower because you still have to think about the overhead rent, and because of the wide space, it's like you're paying for a house like at the same time while doing the thing. You own the whole thing. So it's like your percentages have to be a little lower to cover, because the profits got to cycle back into paying the rent and the employees that work there, as well as future taxes.
Electricity bill, all of that. Security, all of that.
Eventually air conditioning too, because some stores don't have AC. That's really important too.
Don't do that, local car shop. Please have AC.
So the access to cards becomes different each time. But what I've been seeing lately is a lot of people have been buying at high percentages, something like between like 80 to 90, even like full market. And so card supply is going out. So with less cards means that the shop can't really like fully function and keep going. It's like, now I have all this money, great, but then like it's kind of a problem. Whereas shows, I can pick and choose my clients like at the time, but for shops, they just come in, look around, and then if I give them a bad service, now I'm subject to 1-star reviews. Whereas for shows, I'm not subject to those 1-star reviews because you're just at the table. They just move on to the next table. You know, you don't feel as bad.
Interesting. Yeah. Like
you're more subject to scrutiny, public scrutiny, comment sections. Like they're much more intense. And you can't remove these Google reviews like or anything like that because they're like, hey man, he's charging market for it, and then you can't really respond because like, yeah, sorry, you know, like,
yeah, that's called the business.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because like even newer stores like one I live next to, Dewey Collectibles in Anaheim, he just received a bad like review just because of the market price. That's it, and like it's hard, like just harsh. Existing, you know.
Yeah. So, would you? Like, what would be, I guess, let me reframe this question. Like, for me, trying to get a distributor in 2025, right? Like, if I don't have a distributor, right? Full context, right? Hit me up, guys. But should I even try, you know? Like, obviously, like, I don't own a store, right? It's probably impossible. But I also heard stories that people have gotten lucky with the right connection. But is that something even people should be seeking, right? At this point in this hobby. So walk me through that.
Let's say you try and you're just like us, like if you're just trying from fresh to try to get a distributor for lower prices and just to buy stock to resell. One of the first things they're going to ask for is like the full business license, all the information, including like proof that you are actually a store. And then if you don't have the proof that you're actually a game store, they're just gonna be like, no, we're gonna just serve game stores only. So you're just kind of barred out.
Yeah.
I've tried in the past and it just really doesn't work. But then when COVID hit, this was like the best time because game stores weren't fully operating. They were just like, all right, we're just gonna take in anybody. And then from that point afterwards, people who have maintained that connection stayed there and just rode the momentum. And well, now some of them have left, and that's one of the reasons why distributors are extremely picky on the clients. It's because, wow, all these people in COVID were just riding a high. All right, see ya. Look, we just lost like 75 like clients all of a sudden, like because Pokemon's over, I guess. Well, that sucks. Like, okay, you know, like if I were a business person, I'm picking a person like, hey, you're coming in. Okay, how long are you gonna be with us? Do you plan to be with us for multiple years? It's like, oh, it's only 2 years. I'm like, I have someone that's been with me for 15 years. I'll probably just give them more stock.
Loyalties.
Then I can give them to you. Exactly, yeah. And then like 15 years, and he buys everything. And he buys a lot of everything. So I'll probably take his money over your money. Just because you're buying the newest set doesn't mean like you'll buy my older stuff, you know? Like we've always been checking inventory stocks back then, and there was a lot of old stuff that just didn't move. Buying it would just be a terrible investment of our money. But if I want to make them happy, then I would buy it. So it's like, it's hard.
Yeah.
My advice is like you can always try to seek a distribution out, because some people have done it like the most shady way of doing it, where they would actually just own a place that people are leasing. Yeah, I have a store. They just have that building. They bought the tenant location. You know,
Yeah,
like
check
the
box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They just met the criteria. And they're like, yeah, I totally believe it, and they ship it to their house. All the product goes to their house instead. So it's kind of like fake. It's fraudulent. You know?
Right.
And they're like, oh, my lease is over, but you can still send it to my house. So it gets pretty bad.
Okay.
And then Frank and Sons has vendors that have different ones where they've been with them for so long that it's fine. You know,
Grandfather then.
Yeah. Pretty much. Like it's the same logic. So for me, I don't have a distributor. I just talk to people, and most of the time I'm probably dealing with market, and that's where it gets a little rough because it's very unpredictable.
Okay.
But at wholesale, I have not gotten any product at wholesale yet.
I don't think at this point it's realistic. It's only gonna get crazier. You know? So okay, that's cool. And I think that's a perfect segue into the next thing I want to talk about, which is the market itself, right?
Oh my gosh.
We know it's crazy already, right? You guys has been listening, you guys seen it, it's mainstream, it's popular. You know what's the craziest thing? Randomly, I'm like scrolling through like social media, and then like I don't know how my algorithm kicks in, and guys, don't judge me for this because it's not on purpose.
Did your own short get shown to you? Like, did you watch your own TikTok?
I rather have that because this is sketchy. Okay. So randomly, because obviously I have a lot of Pokemon content.
Yeah.
And you know what popped up? Like a porn star was opening Pokemon pack. I was like, okay, it is over now, right? That penetrated into my algorithm. I was like, oh man, like this is beyond
breaking, like
just beyond crazy, right?
Boy.
And I was just like, all right.
Not interested. Next.
We are in a new stage completely. So with that said, my question to you is like, walk me through your thoughts of before this, and now we're in this current state. And what do you see? Like, do you think our Pokemon community is gonna like crash again, like before, or do you think we're like reaching like a new level of, mainstream, notoriety, right? What's your thought on that?
So I experienced like a lot of like happiness from people from like 2022. When I was at the store for like the 6 months, it was always very, very stable as at Pokemon, right? The prices were, it was fine. Everything was okay. It wasn't as crazy as I was in 2025. And then I don't know what happened at 2024. Like there was a crash from 2023 to 2025. There weren't really people, camping out, hiding at GameStop, none of that. It was just a normal, stable market. 151 was like not that high. Paldean Fates was whatever. These are the two sets that we know that like are currently have the biggest hitters, the Zard and the other Zard, and then the Bubble Mew, right?
Yeah.
At one point, they were 80 apiece, and we had our team. We were cycling through, they were, and I chose not to, and my God, the amount of regret. But they had, it was like 80 of each, right? So we had 80 Charizard EXs, the black one, and 80 Bubble Mews, right? But yes, we could be just holding like
you
6 figures just
right
there.
now.
Yeah, I know, right? That it's like there, but that was last year. Nobody could have predicted that, and it's just really funny. But there was a crash. It had already happened. It was just a normal thing. Everybody just, I got the Bubble Mew, $80, and it wasn't about the money. We don't really know what happened, where the hype came from. I don't know where the hype came from. I only started learning about the hype and doing shows because I was tired of living as a ghost in my own home, just doing orders all day. I wanted to just ignite myself and just be passionate like I was before. And then I learned just from talking to people, it's like, it mainly has to do with what I believe to be Whatnot. Because a lot of people from Whatnot are just like, the customers that came in are always talking to a streamer like, hey, do you have megas or this? Hey, do you have tag teams? So then the customers are wondering about these old things, which brought trends and hypes back into those old things, such as the tag teams. And now all of a sudden, hey, let's go back from mid-era. Let's go back to big E, like EXs and megas. And then now all of a sudden with the new megas, those megas went back up, which means in the future, theoretically, we could see a hype in tag teams again, which means tag teams, though they're going up and slightly down, we might see them again in the future because they brought back megas. Sure. And then we believe that the next thing that's going to be happening is like, vintage is going to go back up too. Kind of does. It's okay, like gold stars, I guess, right? So like the hype is kind of random. Now, gold stars have always been as popular as long as I've been around. Like, oh, it's a gold star, cool. Like, okay. In February, we picked up a Charizard Gold Star 1. It was only $950, and now I don't know what it is, but it's higher, right?
It's
So,
way ridiculously high.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
like-
2,500.
yeah, it's a 1 too. Like that's
Yeah.
the craziest thing. And there's sales for a 10 for 40K, two of them. So it's like, where is this hype? Wait, one, where's this money coming from? Two, where's the hype? Where's the hype going? Because what is like what is it? The Lovebirds are like 10K now, right? Like in theory,
In theory.
yeah. So it's like, I personally just can't get a grasp of what the people want. All I'm doing is just serving. I'm just saying, yes, sir. Like, tell me what you want. Okay, I'll go get it. Why is it this high? And I'll like, hey, do you still want it? And I just get it for them. But I don't really have an analysis of the market. Do I expect the crash? It's got to, so that people can start to normalize the hobby, so that we don't have like the camping and whatnot overprinting the product, but also while it would deflate it in the short run. At the end of the day, the demand is still there. It's just like gas. Gas was still $6 a gallon at one point in peak COVID or something like that, right? But people still took the gas anyway. Prismatic, it was going to be the same thing. There are people holding like the entire studio here of just Prismatic or Pokemon Center product.
Yeah, we
like
know
Pokemon
we
Center.
know certain someone. Shout out to you. You know who you are.
Oh my god!
But no, he's a phenomenal person. I love him to death. So no hate on it. But yeah,
So, with all the product being held, like Evolving Skies too, for example, like at my time, Evolving Skies booster boxes only went for like $450, and now it's 6 times that price currently. Like it's a little ridiculous. Unified Minds at the beginning of the year was $900, but now it's a lot more than that. Sun and Moon Unified Minds is simply because of like the rarity of the product. I guess that would make sense, but right now we're experiencing like it's like in modern economics, the market will correct itself. I think Pokemon's a little different. I don't really know how to explain it. Does that make sense?
it really does. And something that over the weekend I had a conversation, and it just like it's like a light bulb went on my head, right? It went against everything I would imagine, because before the weekend I was like, Pokemon will correct itself. Everything has to. We've seen it before. We've seen it again. And it
Yes.
happened again and again. I had one conversation that changed my mind completely. And I don't know, like it's too early for me to say whether that opinion is true or not. And again, guys, this is just me, my opinion, not investment advice. Do not follow it. But the way Pokemon cards are perceived now is basically what NFT was supposed to be in COVID. It is basically a commodity. People are trading in a market where there's a perceived value of that. It's like an art painting. It's just, instead of digital, it's a physical painting.
Yeah.
And there's certain dollar tied to it that everybody knows. It's a commodity, like gold, right? So now when I thought about it like that, and I was like, wow, I don't know if it ever gonna go back to the way it was, because it's exploitable.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I saw an article that popped up once. It was just like people's like investment portfolios are now just like, that's the key phrase I think you were trying to get
Yes.
at. Investment portfolios, like instead of investing my stocks into like Microsoft, Tesla, I'm just gonna go for mid-era Pokemon cards. I'm just gonna go for
Yeah.
let's say previous back trainer galleries or like VMAXs or tag teams. Like it's just, they're just investing, and it's not really, is it really for the hobby at that point, you know?
100%
Oh
not.
man, like yeah.
It's two things, right? Value and liquidity. That's all it is. And when I connected the dot, and I was like, wow, maybe I was wrong this whole time that this hobby is gonna die down. I'm sure there will be a correction,
Yeah.
but previously I saw that correction much sooner. But now with this mindset, and I'm like, wow, I wonder if I'm wrong and this will drag on for even longer.
Yeah.
Because it's been 6 months, it's been 8 months, and there's still no product on the shelf. And
Yes.
you know what I mean? It got a little bit better because of the printing news, but
Right.
still, it's not like you're gonna walk up and see a ETB just sitting on the shelf and
Yeah.
nobody wants it. I don't know.
Because like if the supply, even if the supply keeps going up, the demand also has to go up. So if there's infinite supply, but there's also near infinite demand, is it ever going to correct itself?
Exactly.
It's like holy crap, the supply, it's just always constant. It's like, oh crap. it corrects itself when there's so much supply and there's not and the demand isn't as high, but it just the bar keeps rising right now.
Yeah, and the craziest thing is that seeing moms and children who have previously in the previous cycle would never stand in line for hours and hours and out for days and days to get product, and they don't even know what they're buying.
Yeah.
Right? That tell me, I'm just like, wow, have we reached a whole different level? You know, I was not in the previous cycles to see anything to compare. I can only hear stories, right?
Yeah.
But this gone beyond crazy to me. That's my thought, at least initially. So I'm changing week to week, man. You guys see me like having new opinions every week, you know. So, but yeah, that's pretty crazy. So I think that's perfect segment for the next questions here. As we're speaking right now, I know that's probably going to be delayed for about a week here, so which is great. It's not live, so tag team is down.
Oh yeah.
Everything is down. Like today, I think ponchos are down.
Yes, from what I heard, like recently, yeah.
People are freaking out about ponchos.
Yeah.
Craziest thing is Modern's back up. We talked about Bubble Mew. How do you set yourself up for success? Because again, you know, we talked about this is a hustle. You're chasing the next thing so you can make that dollar, or you can be like, okay, I'm not gonna burn myself out with something that nobody wants to buy.
Right.
What's your strategy?
In terms of like, so making it optimal, I don't heavily dip into that basket because like I see people that they only strictly do slabs and it's all the high end stuff and it's a bunch of the mid era stuff. And I'm like, or like a bunch of tag teams. And we recently obtained like a PSA 10 Pika ROM, like the alt art. It's like, it was at one point like 13, 12. Now it's like 11 and slowly starting to decrease. We had a Mega Sableye Tyranitar. It was like at 1,000 to 1,500. Like there's listed for 16 and now it's going down. Like the hype has lost its train. Slabs are weird now in this like particular thing. So how do I make it so that I don't like step into the total and just sink? Well, one of the things I do is I just don't like most of the time I do just ignore the item overall because it's like, yeah, I'm expecting it to go down. But if I were offered like such a good price on it, then one thing I do is I trade it to someone that has those items. Like if they have only high end slabs, they're probably gonna want high end slabs, and therefore like, hey, could you provide me something that I could use to make more clients happy? I don't like giant items. And what I do for my business model is I turn it into a bunch of smaller items that while they're making on demand to make up for the loss, if that makes sense.
How do you have that conversation? Because like I think that's something that I want to get into every single person I interview, right? Everybody have a different strategy. Because normally, like generally speaking, if you take that slap in, let's just say, you know, that Tyranitar tag team.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want it, but I'm taking it because it's a good price, right? Good price probably at this market is still probably 80%, I imagine,
80,
for something like that, right? So now you're like, well, I want to trade it out to something else. You like go to a different vendor. They're gonna be like, yeah, great, trade it in at 80%. Well, where's your margin, right? You're probably gonna end up losing a little bit just making that trade.
Just making the conversation.
Exactly. So how do you sustain? Because eventually that little bit down to a little bit is going to become half.
It'll be pretty bad, yeah.
Right. So how do you navigate that conversation? I think a lot of people will be interested in knowing that.
Sometimes you can like, for me, I can just kind of, it's not that I can tell. It's just like, I'll just ask them because there's so many vendors at so many shows. Sometimes it's okay for me to sit on the item. I'll just go, hey, you want to straight trade? Would you be interested in this? I'd like to straight trade. And then if they say no, okay. You know, I don't get too offended. They just didn't want to do it because I'm the same way. If they wanted to straight trade with me or something, I'll accept it. Because if I could accept it, then the favor can go back, right? If you were to straight trade items with me,
okay.
I think your daughter also straight trades items with me too. If you wanted to do that.
What
right?
a scammer that she is.
Oh my, yeah, if you wanted to straight trade, it's fine. Like, yeah, sure. But if it was a bigger item, I'll accept that too. It just depends if the person is willing to do it or not. And I'll just go to multiple people and ask them if it's okay with them. And as long as we can agree on a number together, it's straight. It's just trading straight across. But of course, you will be prepared to have that conversation where they don't accept it too. It's like, okay, it's time to move on. You got to get ready for the no. And then, okay,
Okay.
on to the next person.
That's-
Hey, are you interested? I'd like that item. Okay, cool. Is it okay to trade? Yeah, sure. I'll trade whatever you want. It's 1,500. Okay, I'll take it. Take 1,500 of whatever you want. Oh, but not that item. Or something like that. As long as
Okay.
they're willing, it's cool. Just talk to people. It's a lot of this business comes down to networking with a lot of people because you see them at so many shows. You're not going to see them because we do so many shows. We see many of the same people at the shows. It's better to have them as your friend than as an enemy
Competitor,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like as a competitor because they could take it, they can move it, they can do whatever they want with it. I just didn't want to have to deal with that.
I do the same thing, and I'm learning that. But that's really insightful hearing from you telling me that because I don't even think I articulated that thought process until now when you just said it, right? Because I'm just like, well, I need to move this, and I think as new vendors, we all like, well, if we do vendor deals, it's gonna be we're expecting ourselves to be the customer, and we're like, oh. God, I'm gonna get ripped off at 80%. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, so you don't even have that conversation. But I never even thought about like, well, let's shop around to hit up some network. And I do it. I just again don't articulate it, right? So, guys and girls, new vendors watching at home, right? Talk to people. Don't be afraid. Start the conversation. Worst case is no. Be nice about it. If you are new, definitely introduce yourself and also tell people what you can offer in the future. So, it's a build business relationship. I think that's, what we're just summarizing. So that's actually pretty cool. Okay.
I think another example is, okay, I swear to God, I hate this because you're going to get it too. Everyone gets it. There's no way you could avoid this like
For sure.
at all. You get people come up to you, hey, you want to do this for a trade-up challenge? Every single show, there's one. It's always like that. When I first had it in my first show, I said no. And after that, it's just every single show. So trade up, obviously, they just want the item at either the equal straight trade or
Better. In their favor.
Higher, right?
Yep.
But sometimes they'll come, and usually you never see them again. But sometimes they come back with a different item that had more value, which means that someone was willing to do it. So if someone's willing to do a trade up challenge, then you're gonna probably find someone in the show that'll straight trade you for the bigger items. It's got to work both ways because this trade up challenge thing, while it's really annoying, like it makes sense, but use that as a ticket. Someone might say yes. Most people might say no, but if they want to straight trade you, just think about the trade up challenge.
I have a side story here, right? That's not even the worst. I hate the type of interaction where, and it's all the same. So shout out to all you whatnot streamers out there. you know what's coming.
Oh boy.
They always looks like they're in a hurry. Like these are grown men, guys and girls. Looks like they're in a hurry, like almost head first, walking around like super fast. Come to your booth, like I like this.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm going with that, right?
Yeah.
I like this. What's your lowest you can offer me? Let's work together if I can work together. And then as you comping them, you're like, okay, this is average, but there's like one sells at like 400, and when the card is like $700, right? And you're like, well, I'm taking the average of that, and I'm already taking that in account. And I'm like, but that's one sells at like 400. I'm like, okay, fine.
4 months ago or something.
Right. I'm like, okay, cool. Move on to the next card. I'm like, well, going by your logic, there's one sell at 800 for this. They're like, but that's one sells. What? I'm like, okay. So you get through all of that, and they waste like almost an hour of your time just beating you down, telling you your card is nothing. Your card is the worst thing that ever happened to you. And it's such a burden. And they are your savior. They're here to rescue you from your burden because you need it, right? And then after that, they say, okay, so what percentage you want to be at?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, thank you, Jesus. Let me get on my knees and let me beg you because you need to take this off my hand in the hardest market possible. And when you finally had enough, you're like, you know what? No, I'm good. And this happened to me this, I don't remember this. I think I took this weekend or last weekend. Mm-hmm. I was doing a show. Literally, the guy come, and I already see in my eyes. I'm like, I'm not even dealing with this, right?
Oh shit! Here it comes.
Yeah. It was a Charizard. He's like, how like, what's your lowest on it? I'm like, well, I have it at 800, and I show him the comp. Like, last couple of sales are 850.
Yeah.
He's like, what's your lowest you can do? I'm like, I'm already giving you $50 off. Not even negotiating. I'm not taxing. I'm not doing anything. We didn't even talk. Like right out the bat, I gave you $50 off. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, I think 800 is pretty fair, right? Like, as you can see, multiple listing at 850. I give you $50 off. I don't even know you. Never done business before.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know what he said? Yeah. He looks at me. He's like, "Oh, good luck to your business." Walks away. I was like, you know what? You're lucky. I'm a nice guy, and I don't really care. But newer vendor, watch out.
Yeah.
You understand this. Like, one piece of advice I can probably give you guys and going through the grind is they're your collections, okay? You don't have to sell them. Mm-hmm. If the price is not right for you, don't be pressured into selling it, because there are people who are maliciously trying to get a deal out of you. They don't care about you. They would never come back. Or if it's a really good deal, they know they can continuously come back and repeat this process. They will come back to you. But that's not good business for you. You have to look out for yourself as well. And that's what I've learned. I don't know if you have anything similar in that experience.
I just tell people that like vendors are vendors' worst enemy. They're your best friends, but they're also your worst enemies at the same time. It's the duality of like a coin flip. You know what I mean? You have the heads. It's like, we can help each other out. We're gonna straight trade, and then like you take the bigger item. I'm gonna take a bunch of smaller items that like don't work well for you, but it works for our business model. And then there's the worst ones where like, oh, can you do all this at 80x%? If I take a bunch, blah 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 blah. I'm not in a rush to sell. That's one of the biggest things I tell people. That this is actually good advice for new vendors too. You shouldn't be in a rush to sell everything unless this was your first show and this is probably your only show for an extended period of time, and you were only there with the purpose of selling only. If you do want to sell out, then go for it, right? Mm-hmm. But I have to do this I've been doing it since the beginning of the year, and I've been planning until through August. If I sell everything if I sell everything, all I have is money coming in with empty display cases. I'd rather have more cards and a lot of cards so I can make a lot of people happy than just an empty display case. Because what are they going to do? Just show up?
They're going to walk away anyway.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Exactly.
I think people, and myself included, and I'm sure at some point everyone goes through that thought process, because you see everybody else busy and then you're not busy. And then you're like, man, am I like, and then that one customer comes through and you're like, oh, I have to make this sales. I think that's what I've learned, like to take like a step back and be like, it's fine, right? And we talked about this earlier, which is like, I think some people newer, maybe they want to do this full time and they're worried about, well, I'm paying for the table. I need to make this money back. I think that balance is what I trying to tell people, like, take it easy. It's a hobby at the end of the day. For all you know, these cards are like $1. Honestly, at the end of the day, there's artificial value being traded. Mm-hmm. But, it's okay to sit on cards and continuously have people beat you down. And I'll tell you guys a quick story here. I've sat on the Team Aqua, Team Magma card, right? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Beautiful sequential set.
Yeah, they're just hanging out.
Japanese PSA 10. Mm-hmm.
So good.
I listed them at 5K.
Yeah.
Okay. There wasn't any sales that really support that. It was moving up in that direction for sure.
Yeah.
And everybody was trying to beat me down. They're like, no, this is like 4.4, maybe 4. And I held it. I was like, okay, the trade didn't make sense. And at the end of the day, I held it.
Yeah.
And recently, I sold it 5K.
Yeah.
And it came into a 2 trade with cash on top in my favor. So it was a really great deal. And that person also got a pair of cards that they've been looking for, they've been treasuring, right? So don't be scared to say no unless it's a deal that makes sense. You have a value for those cards that you have. Keep that and respect that. This is what I think I'm telling people.
I like that because like at the end of the day, if you just sell it to another vendor, or like it's mostly just other vendors. I swear to God. But because like the people that aren't looking at it, like they're casual, like they're more likely not ready to spend that much unless they really did have a lot to trade in.
Yeah.
But like the the other vendors, they had no intentions of actually just collecting it for themselves in the first place. And so that's why, like, I like some of the shows that we go to where you're identified by a vendor badge. So the moment you show up, I'm already on my guard, ready to like just not make a deal with you. Actually,
Correct.
Yeah, I'm already ready. At least I know you, you know. But then like it's because I know that you just want this at a percentage. Like there's no point. I could just wait.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is that I like to cater to those that are actually collecting, because then I talk to them and I just ask them like, hey, like instead of saying like, hey, any questions, which is like the most frustrating retail experience that I've had, because that's what I was used to in the past. But in order to improve, like service is a really big thing in our industry, just making sure that you're always nice and attentive to their needs and wants. And like I try to remember every single person's story. I'm telling you, every story, like with how many people that I have like on a list, I have to like, okay, I don't remember your name, but I remember the story and the moment.
And the face. And the face.
Yeah. It'll just be like that consistently. And it's always like this little, there was a recent person, I didn't remember her, but I remember what she collected and how she showed it to me. It was just a bunch of Larrys. And I'm like, okay, now I remember. So I just keep it in my head. And it was been like 4 months. Or like someone who showed up at LA Card Dude's Torrance show. I hadn't seen them for many shows for about half a year. But when they came back, it was a birthday, so I was like, okay, just take a pack on me because it's fine. You know, just because you're for business, a lot of your customer base is actually the people that come back to you and you provide them the service that you need. So it's okay for you to wait on these deals and whatnot and just be patient, because I'm getting them what they want over the course of time.
Yeah.
And patience is okay. I don't need to be in a rush to sell to the reseller unless I've been sitting on that item for like 8 months and it's like, it's cool. It has a high value, but it kind of sucked. And it's been like 8 months. Like, okay, maybe I'll trade it away, you know?
Yeah.
I did that recently only because what I traded out wasn't what people were interested in. And what I took in was like about 25% of it was things that people weren't interested in, but just to have it just in case that there was that one master setter, that one person that comes through, and a bunch of stuff that looks pretty.
Yeah.
And then that's how I measure the data. It's just like, hey, it looks pretty. Maybe it's all. I don't know.
No, that's good. Yeah. I'm hoping this podcast help inform newer people might want to get into vendor or is starting now, maybe even done it in a while, who just have like a new thought process, right? At the end of the day, it's a collection, right? You valued it as certain thing. Don't let the eBay listing tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it is. Yeah. Worst case, you don't sell it, man. You know, you go home with it and you get to sleep and fight another day, you know? So, okay. With that said, our favorite time of the night, I tell you to bring one item and I always showcase one item. Let's get to it. You want to start first? You want me to start first?
I can start, yeah.
All right,
sure.
I'll let you go for it.
All right. So one thing that I like to collect for my personal collection. So when I did personal collections back in the past, it was strictly, I started as a collector doing high-end Yu-Gi-Oh only because I'm like, if I'm going to take this card, it's got to be the best of the best. And then that's how I got into vending in the first place. That's how many people get into vending in the first place. From a personal collection into the business, because you just keep opening packs or whatever. Yeah. At first, I started downsizing my personal because I realized I had to have assets after theft, right? That includes the personal collection. I let it go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I just don't need to be attached to anything. As I grew through the business, I started liking more and more cards, talking to people, and I'm like, yeah, you know, this Altaria card's really pretty. It fits our blue, like our whole theme is all blue, white, black, mixed colors, aesthetic. And so the card I collected was Altaria. And the card that I'm collecting now is just very specific PSA 10 graded Altarias. This was gifted to me by, shout outs to Cole Collects Cards. He's been with me since I first created the store. And then even after I disappeared when he showed up to a show, I still remembered him. And after I told him my favorite card was Altaria, I just told him my favorite card was Altaria, and he just gifted the thing to me. And I was like super happy. And then this is in my personal collection. It was a gift. And on the back of this graded guard is another Altaria. It's the same Altaria, but it's signed by...
I'm embarrassed.
It's signed by Alan's daughter. So... Also a gift, and I kept it for myself. So this is actually just sitting here on the wall, and it's just two gifts from really great people that I've met along the way. I keep gifts that people give me along the way. So that's one thing I personally collect, because it's like you're helping me along my journey, and it matters to me because the road getting to the end is, well, it's really rigid, it's really rough, but there's like, there's times when like I can sit down and just appreciate what I've been given.
That's
and I'm
awesome.
very blessed.
No wonder when I hit you up and I'm like, hey, send me that Altera, you're like, just give me emoji. You're like, ignore me.
I can't.
I get it now.
I was like, listen.
I get it now. You didn't reply.
Yeah.
I got it though. I got it. So, all right, my turn. This one is very new in my collection, but I wanted to showcase this because I think it fits with today's theme. So, recently, I got a second poncho, the Charizard.
Mm-hmm. My friend, right? I think.
No, it was a straight buy at the Bay. It was at the collector expos. I had a customer comes to and wanted to sell that straight.
Oh, okay.
And I was working towards a Lovebird, but that deal was too good to pass up. So I was like, okay, I got to pivot. It worked out, but I also was like, I have two, and I don't want to like just start collecting everything without actually, vending.
Yeah.
So I happened to find a collector who's interested in that card specifically. And we got talking and we worked out a deal. So shout out to Nine Core Collectible. And I traded with him. I was able to get, some inventory in and some personal collection. And one of the things that I saw on that list that I never even seen the card before, like I probably came across of it, but I never really pay attention because we go through so many cards on a daily basis, right?
Yep.
And I saw this card, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I mean, I looked up the value, it was great. Japanese, like not crazy. And it's this Umbreon Hollow, Japanese Neo 2, English is Neo Discovery.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, Umbreon, popular Pokemon, vintage,
Yep.
PSA 10, Japanese, how can it go wrong, right?
So great.
I already looked at the comps.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll bring it in, I'll probably sell it. Got the lot in, finished the deal. I'm like, man, this is a beautiful card.
It's really good.
Yeah,
I had it before as like a CGC, so I was like, it's all right, but it's a good card. No, it's like really
yeah. I mean, look, it's Umbreon black, yellow border. I'm like, wow, this is simple, but
it's just great.
it's just so simple. He's in the moon is in the back. And last weekend show, I had it out. Another good friend came through that I've done business with. And I know he's a fan of Japanese vintage. And immediately I was like, you want this card, don't you? He's like, yeah. And I was like,
Yep.
well, and at that point, he didn't even draw onto me to get to the point of the story, right? But basically, I traded him. I was like, I mean, this card, like last sold was $1,850. But because you're a good friend, we done so many business together, I'll give it to you for about like 1,700 cash or like maybe 1,800 trays, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I took in the Charizard 151 with $1,000 cash at that time. So it was about 1,750, somewhere there, right? Everybody's happy. So I was like, I got some modern inventory that can grow.
Yeah.
I'll sell it back
Expand the
out.
business, right?
And I get $1,000 cash. Go home that day and I'm like, I kind of missed that card.
God, I have the same
That
story.
feeling, right?
I have the same story, man.
All week, I'm just like staring at the picture. I'm like, man, I did not realize how much I missed that card for.
I was like, dude, I'm wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I had a similar incident. I had the exact same feel. I was like, dude, I'm just wrong. Like, gosh.
yeah, but of course, like I honor the deal, and I'm like, man, and it went to a great home because I know he loves the card.
Yeah.
So I'm like stressing now, right? I'm looking on eBay. I'm like, man, the lowest listing is like this. I'm like, should I buy it back? I trying to go to my Japanese distro. I was like, yo, do you guys have that card? Can I buy it back? They told me, they're like, oh, the card is going for like this price right now. And I'm like, I'll buy it. And they're like, yeah, we can't find it. I'm like, no. So yes, it was yesterday. Yesterday, I went to the We Can Be Hero trade night. Guess
The
what?
12 to 5, right? Up
Yeah,
there?
yeah. Guess what?
Oh my God.
Found a copy. And I immediately was like, I gotta make it happen.
I need this back.
I need this back.
Yep.
So I traded another slap, the Captain Pikachu. I traded out for cash. And then I put that $1,000 back together, bought this card immediately. So going back to the theme of the night here, I was wrong. I mean, but again, I it all worked out, right? I was able to like help a customer, a friend acquire something that they really enjoy, and that made me happy. I also find out through that process how much I actually enjoy this card.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, man, should I PC this thing? But you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I'm going through that process.
Yep.
But nevertheless, I was able to like find it and acquiring it back. And now I'm going to be much harder for me to let that go.
Right.
But that just, again, going back to the theme of the night, which is your collection, guys. Value it. Don't just let other people tell you what it's worth. You determine what it's worth. Do thick and thin and collect it as a hobby, because true collector will eventually find his way to you, and they will pay that price to keep it in their personal collection. Yep. Like I did, right? I sold it and I regret it.
Yep.
And I want it back. And I was willing to pay a little bit higher than what I sold it for, even though it all worked out because the card that I sold it was graded. So I came up back a little bit. But I was like, man, if that didn't happen, I would probably still buy it back, right? Yeah. So that just tell you guys it's okay to value your card. So
yeah, like how it means to you. Because like I had the exact same story with another Altaria. It's one of the things that's part of my business model, is because like if I know that I'm selling it to somebody, it's going to the right home, like most likely, especially when I talk to them. That's the biggest thing, just really interacting with the people in socializing with vending.
Yeah.
The biggest part about people liking vending is that they want to experience that social aspect, because that's what really makes it fun. It only gets crazy when it's a little swarmed, you know, but you still try to give them the best. And yeah, I had Altaria, I sold it, and then for a month I was like, dude, nobody has it. I need it back. I need it Japanese. I'm gonna regret it. I had to like look up auctions, and I'm like, PSA has it for like 200. I'm like, no, I'll just wait. And then eventually it just came by, and I was like, yes, it came back. I have the exact same story. That's why I'm keeping it. It's just, you know, it's for me. It has a story. It has meaning to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what PC is. It's got meaning to you.
Yeah.
And if like I can help you get there, or he can help you get there, we want to make sure that the card goes to the right home.
Yeah, 100%. I would rather sell my card a little bit lower to make sure that it goes to the right home than to sell it over comp to someone who doesn't care.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy, because I think seeing people's happy faces and smile worth more to me than that $50, that $100 at the end of the day. Because I'm a true collector. I can't speak for every vendor out there, but I'm a collector. I started in collecting. I got into this. I wanted to grow my collection, right? So, and that's why I'm doing all this other stuff, right? I want to empower the community. And at the end of the day, I just want to make it a fun place for everybody to enjoy. So, yep. With that said, last thing, tell everybody how can they find you, CardLab, give them all your social, not social security, social, social media.
Yeah.
And let people know how to find you.
Sounds good. I am CardLabTCG on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I don't really use YouTube or TikTok. I just post the shorts there, but they're starting to get a little bit of traffic. So CardLabTCG on each of those. Be careful not to find CardLab EN, CardLab French, CardLab Vietnam. I'm just CardLabTCG. That's it.
Nice. All right, guys. That is it for this episode of the TCG Table. Again, my name is Alan Lee, and AKA Pokemon Hero. CardLab here. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel. We started getting a lot of traction, so we really appreciate it if you guys can subscribe to our YouTube. We're also on Spotify, so if you cannot watch this episode, make sure you give it a listen, man. I know a lot of people enjoy just listening to some, advice or just conversation when they're driving. So make sure you give us, a little love, all right? We'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night, guys.